It is time to start planting these seeds, and we are super excited for the spring garden to go in. Woo! Hey folks, welcome back to the Rockin' Sea Homestead. My name is Lance. I want to welcome you to our channel. And it is garden seed starting time for the spring garden. So we got to plant these seeds, get them started, have little seedlings come up, and then once the weather turns a little bit nicer, we can get them planted in our garden. But first, we got to get these things planted. Now, we're going to do this over a 2-weekend span. So we're going to plant some of them this weekend and some of them next weekend. All right, so this weekend, we're going to start a variety of peppers. So we have a orange bell pepper, a bullnose red pepper, which are green and red bell peppers. We have a non-hot jalapeno pepper. It's called a tam jalapeno, however that's pronounced. And then we got banana pepper. It's going to be my favorite pepper, I do believe. And then we have 3 tomatoes we're going to plant today. We're going to do a purple bumblebee. We did these last year, and they were fantastic. So these things are great producers. We like those. We're also going to venture out to some bigger tomatoes, a Bonnie Best. And then we got another cherry tomato called Isis Candy Cherry. So they look really good. So those are the ones we're going to start seeding. Now, you know, some people have different philosophies about how to seed these trays and those kind of things. I've seen where they make little seed blocks. They get those little pucks you get at the store. You know, last year we had little itty bitty trays or little containers that were probably about, I don't know, about square, but they're probably about half this size. We didn't really like those. We just felt they were too small and you almost had to transplant them as they got a little bit closer to being in the ground. So we got bigger ones, have a little bit more drainage, and they're nice. And I mean, they're plastic, but they're very durable. We kind of crushed one up just to see what it looked like, and it popped right back into perfect shape. So that's going to be good when you're trying to pop out the plants when you plant them in the garden. So that's going to be really good. So that's how we're going to do ours. There's many ways to do this. We're not experts. This is our 2nd year gardening. So hopefully you guys are going to come along and learn a lot from us this year as we did last year. So yes, Noel, you want some time? Okay. So hopefully, you know, again, there's going to be a lot of knowledge exchange here, and we show you a few things maybe you don't know. So let's get this thing started. All right, so we kind of talked about the pots and the trays that we're doing. So these trays don't have slits in them. They contain all the water. There are little ribs where this will set up and the water can drain. So there's probably about an 1/8 of an inch where water can drain, and it's not in the plants. Now the dirt we're using is actually by a company called Burpee, which is some of the seeds we got are actually from Burpee, but I think we got this at Lowe's, and it's just an organic seed starting mix. And one of the things I really like about it is it's super fine and very loose, and it's not clumpy at all. We've used this when we did our chicken salad bar. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up here. But we used this same stuff when we redid that, and it's worked out really, really well. So the only thing else that we're going to add in here to amend it is some of this Job's Fast Start granular plant food. We're just going to dump this in there. There's not much left in here, but we're just going to dump it in here and mix it up. And then once we water it in, all that fertilizer and stuff will get mixed into the dirt as we start planting these out. All right, so just reading the directions on the back of this Burpee seed package, or the seed mix, soil mixture stuff. What it's saying to do is to fill these up to about 1/4 inch to the top of the rim. And then once you get them all filled in, it says to water them with lukewarm water. And then at that point is when you go back in, follow your directions on the seed packet of how deep you need to plant the seed, and then finally mist them. And then now we'll kind of set the seed in the soil, and you should be good to go. So at this point, we're just going to fill up as many trays as we think we need right now, and then we'll go from there. All right, so we got all of the pots that we needed for today or this weekend. We got them filled, we got them watered. Now it's time to actually plant the seeds. But before I go into that, I want to just kind of tell you how we came up with how many we needed. So back probably about a month or so ago, we ordered all the seeds, but prior to that, we had to go through and kind of look at the beds we had, how many beds we need all together, what we want. So we're going to add a couple more of our raised beds. And with that, we kind of mapped out, and Marcy will kind of show you a map here pretty soon. It'll be coming over the screen at some point of how we're going to set up the garden. So how many of this plant, how many of these plants, how many of these plants, and those kind of things. So with all of that, we took those, and we know that not all the plants are going to germinate. Rarely do you get 100% germination. So we're doubling up on every plant that we need. We're planting 2 different cups worth for that, just in case. So worst case scenario, we lose a plant, and we are going to hopefully give away some of these. I know we're going to share some with my sister and sister-in-law. So hopefully, you know, we'll have plenty to give away. So that's what we're going to do. But just wanted to kind of let you know that's how we kind of decided how many we need. I think there's 50, yeah, 50-ish in here today. That's how many we need, and let's get this planted. So one more thing I wanted to talk about before we start planting is labeling your seedlings. So last year we grew them. I don't know how many we had in a tray, but it was quite a bit because there were a lot smaller cups. And so we thought, well, we just, you know, the start and the finish of a row, everything in between there was what was planted there. It doesn't always work out that way because things get kind of shifted around as the time goes on. So my recommendation, highly recommend, label each seedling, 100%. These are super cheap. I mean, I've seen them, you know, you can get these little plastic tags. I've seen little, you know, like popsicle sticks, whatever. And if you're planting the same things over and over and over, you can use them. I mean, if you just, depending on how small a write-in you have, you could maybe use the same stick twice or 3 times or whatever it may be. But so while I'm planting, Marcy's going to be writing, because she has much better handwriting than I am, what these are, and we're going to put one in every single pot so we know what that pot is, because it kind of messed us up on some tomatoes last year. We thought we planted something, we didn't. So my recommendation is to fill this out and stick it in every pot, 100%. All right, so we got all of our seeds started. Now we just have to water them in. And one of the things, since we're doing this inside, you know, I've used a spray bottle, all kinds of stuff. But I tell you, one of the things I like is just a little pump spray. You can adjust the nozzle, and you can get it to come out as a pretty good mist. Just like that. Yeah, which is great when you have fragile seedlings in here. You can really get those things started really well. But give them plenty of water. And you're not having to, you know, with a hand pump all day, right? With the little spray bottle. So we use this in for our other garden as well that we have set up for our herb garden and those kind of things. And it works really, really, really good. So, all right, so we've got everything watered in. At this point, all we're going to do is put them in our little seed starting rack here. If you didn't see the video, one of our last videos we did was about setting this up, how we installed all the lights. And since then, I did add a few things. I did add a power strip here because we're going to run some of these heat mats. And I didn't bring them out last time because we store them folded, and until you get some weight on them, they kind of fold up. But everything's going to be routed, and I'll zip tie it around the edges so they all come to here once I get them set up. And the heat mat, so when it comes to germinating plants, the plants need to be at a certain temperature. That's where you know, the heat from the heat mat will really, really help. Even though this is inside in front of a window, you know, it still can get down to 68 degrees in our house, so, or colder depending on the day. So it may help out for that. That's what we found out in the past, that these do really, really help. All right, so we got all of the trays on the heat mat. Heat mats are plugged in. Everything's set to go. So I'm gonna turn this on. So hopefully you're not blinded by the light. It's quite startling. So we are ready to go. Like I was saying, next week we'll probably do this many, if not one more. So we got plenty of room. We can still stick, you know, actually 5 more on here and not even think about the top, but just in the racks we have. So we have plenty more. I'm not for sure if Marcy's going to start the seeds for her herbs, or she's going to get seedlings. She hasn't quite decided yet. But yeah, thank you guys for coming back. Watch our video all the way to the end. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, it'll be a perfect time to do that. The button will be right down there. Just click on that, ring that bell, so you get notified every time a video comes out. And for those that came back and always watch our videos all the way to the end, we really do appreciate you guys. And from our homestead to yours, have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.